Hello and welcome once again to the We Need to Talk About Chocolate podcast. I'm, as always, joined by Andrew Nason, and I've got to admit, off the bat, I'm in a absolutely terrible mood, and I'm feeling rubbish, and it is all your fault.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all your fault.
Why am I laughing?
I don't know why you're laughing. You've been laughing the whole time since I got here. You've been reveling in this. Andrew, ever these sort of evil scientists messaged me about 3 or 4 days ago saying I've had a brilliant idea for our next episode, despite the fact that I already seem to remember having eaten a huge quantity of chocolate on one episode, at least one episode, to the point where it made me feel quite unwell. I was told, Ed, you need to basically eat an entire day's max amount worth of sugar the hour before you come to record so that we can trace the effects of a sugar crash. And I went, okay, sure. And so about an hour ago, I went to the shops and I bought a Snickers bar, a bottle of Lucozade, and something called a Nerds Cluster, which is a bag of sort of gummy sweets with sort of sugar crystals around them, which added up to about 90 grams of sugar. And yeah, we're going to go into detail about what's happening in my body right now. But spoiler alert, I feel absolutely terrible. I've got...
Really? You feel terrible?
Yeah, I feel clammy. I've got a headache. My brain is really clouded.
Foggy.
That's the word, foggy.
Yeah,
I'm in a rubbish mood. I'm really irritable.
Right. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah. I mean, so, you're doing this in the name of science.
Yeah.
We want to understand what the mechanism of a sugar crash is all about. And as Snickers man...
I can't open my water.
His brain is so fogged that he's actually struggling to open a bottle of water. Let me help you.
I genuinely am in a bad mood, by the way. I'm not.
I can see. You're like fired up. You're angry. You're irritable.
Yeah.
You're in a flight or fight response, and I can't decide whether you want to fight or
run away.
Run.
Either.
Can you decide which you want to do?
I don't want to fight because I feel incredibly lethargic, but similarly, I don't really want to run away for the same reason.
But I thought you were irritable, which means that you're probably gearing up.
What I want to do right now, genuinely, is lie down and stare at my phone for an hour. Genuinely, if my time was my own right now, that's what I'd be doing.
Obviously, we gave you your sugar dose, and we're doing this in the name of science because we're understanding the impact of the sugar in Snickers. And
for our listeners only, Andrew has just pulled out a bag of 4 more Snickers and I think some sort of horrible energy drink, maybe.
It's a Monster drink and a Red Bull. And I want to address head on the lie of the food industry, which is that sugar produces energy. And this is the whole marketing bent of Red Bull and Monster and Snickers, is that energy equals sugar. And we're discovering, I think, Ed, you're a perfect example right now that that's not true because you're feeling like crap.
Yeah, I mean, I am. I really am. And I didn't ever, I was on the train, but I didn't have some real perk up on the train where I felt amazing.
Right.
I ate the sugar and I pretty much, within about 25 minutes, felt like absolute terror.
Right. And so what we need to do is explore what is actually going on. And we're going to go really deep.
Yeah.
Right. This is Nerds on steroids.
Well, that's essentially Nerds was the name of the sweet I ate. Nerds got me into this mess.
And if we were dealing with a live audience, we would ask them whether we should jack up. But I think, on a sort of empathetic note, that we shouldn't add any more sugar because we don't want you sort of paralytic.
I've done my part. I've done my part.
Okay, fine.
I've had 90 grams.
Let's figure out what the hell is going on. And, I've often described you as a chimp.
You have?
Mind.
Yeah.
And we went further back, didn't we? We went to the slug.
Oh, the slug, yeah.
Yeah. And now we're going to go further back. Amoeba.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. We're going to go back about 3 to 5 million years ago. And we're going to try and understand what the hell creates the energy in your body and how it gets impacted by sugar. And that's essentially what a sugar crash is. So I think the first thing is to understand, what provides naturally the energy in your body. Let's do that, one of 2 ways. The first thing is the big lie is that sugar provides energy. And that's the message sent by the food industry. And I've got these, Monster and Red Bull.
Question though, I mean, those contain caffeine in, right? I mean,
they do. I mean, obviously, when we're
we have a
talking
look
Snickers,
at,
yeah.
just get out the Red Bull bottle now. I'll read out what it says. Niacin and vitamin B6 contribute to the reduction of tiredness and fatigue, as well as normal energy,
how much
high
sugar?
caffeine content.
Look at the first two ingredients are glucose and sucrose, right?
I can tell you this has over, I think, about 35 grams of sugar in this Red Bull.
That's an incredible amount of sugar. And if
Well, it's nothing compared to what I've had. That is light work.
and this one as well, and it also has something
Monster,
called taurine in.
yeah, taurine. Monster is interesting. This has got fruit juice in actually over sugar.
Yeah, and that's your monkey brain going, wow,
This
I've got
has,
fruit juice.
So
But
this one, obviously, it's a
actually-
bit bigger. This one has 56 grams of sugar.
So we're talking 56 grams of sugar that can be consumed very, very quickly in a couple of minutes. And by the way, it doesn't satiate you because you'll want more. And this is going to set up the roller coaster of your sugar craving and crashing. And this is essentially what your generation has been brought up on, believing this is going to turn you into a sportsman and a Formula One driver.
Yeah, Red Bull are really clever with that. And you mentioned sort of the games played by advertisers. Red Bull are really, really, I mean, famously, there was the slogan, Red Bull gives you wings, which they got a little, something more than a slap on the wrist for, because they used it, it was suggested they used it in a way that implied it gave you some sort of athletic increase in your sort of athletic ability. But they still know, I mean, any sort of extreme sport, anything in that sort of world. Sorry, again, the sugar has made my brain completely clouded, so hopefully I'm still making sense.
This is a good example of actually whether the Red Bull marketing is correct. Can you perform at an athletic level?
I've not had any Red Bull.
No, but on that sugar level that's involved in.
No, really can't. I can't tell you how. Similarly to when you're really tired or really drunk.
Yeah.
It's that same thing where I am almost really consciously having to think about the words coming out of my mouth before I say them. It's sort of I seem to be operating on about 40% of my normal.
So the whole food industry, like Coca-Cola, Mars, it's all, have your Snickers, be energetic, be socially popular, be in a crowd. This is the route to heaven. This is nirvana.
Yeah.
And we're going to discover that the opposite, again, is true. Sugar is the modern mass destruction, or, addiction to sugar is what, it's a poison. We're going to take it apart and we're going to go slow, section by section. So let's start off with a question to you, Ed, and I'm conscious that your brain is slightly foggy. I want you to take all the living animals.
What I Noah's Ark.
Well, all the living things.
Okay.
Things, not animals. Sorry, I misspoke.
That's okay.
In the world, and tell me in order of weight what they would be. What is the heaviest living category of living thing on this earth?
I mean, it depends what you mean by your question, but the heaviest thing is.
No. In terms of if you took
have you
all
weighed
the
them
living,
all?
of
Weighed them all?
By category, and then put them on a scale.
Good question. I guess it depends sort of how specific you're going, but there are so many ants. That's my first thought.
Well, so you're going down the animal route. There's something way heavier than ants.
How much does a bacteria weigh?
We're getting closer. Getting closer. If you took every living thing on this planet and then weighed them by category, what's number one?
Maybe, I don't know. Fungus? No, that can't be right.
Not far off. It's plants. So we've got trees. So any plant is
all plants.
All plants. That's the heaviest. And then I want number two. And number two is relevant to your sugar crash.
I mean, sugar's not alive, so I guess I don't know.
Bacteria.
Bacteria.
the humans, in terms of animals and ants, are like a little
Thing is,
tiny
when you're weighing
pimples
me, are you
compared-
weighing when I weigh myself?
Yes,
I'm
your
also,
entire mass.
but I'm also weighing the bacteria in my body as well.
Yes, no, we're talking about the entire bacteria, whether it's in your body or
But
whether it's in the earth, in
are
the
we
soil.
minusing bacteria from me?
No, we're basically, plants are, broadly 80% of the world's living mass. And bacteria is about 13%. And animals are 0.4% of the living things. And
That's none.
it's basically non-existent. And negligible. 0.01 is humans. And I want to talk about this to illustrate the importance of bacteria. Bacteria is essentially what powers you. And we're immediately going to start talking about mitochondria. And
Powerhouse of the cell.
the powerhouse of the cell. And that's why I want you to go back 3 to 5 million years ago. And let's put you as an amoeba.
Okay.
Okay.
Amoeba. Sorry.
And amoebas tend to just eat whatever bumps into them, right? They just things haven't obviously changed, to be very honest.
Hey, it's like you told me to eat this stuff. I don't normally eat it.
If that bumps into you, you'll generally eat it
I
without
genuinely,
really thinking about it.
If I had a Snickers bar and that was it, I'd be fine. It's those nerd clusters that have killed me, honestly. Those were absolutely barbarically sugary.
And that's glucose. That's going to be pure glucose. But we're going to get there first. So you're an amoeba 3 to 5 million years ago. You're basically trying to eat anything that bumps into you, which, as I say, is not obviously changed in people's attitudes. And you so happened, weirdly, you swallowed a bacteria. And the bacteria survived. And it's probably one of the most defining moments of life on Earth. The bacteria survived.
Wow.
And that bacteria kind of created a symbiotic relationship, and it kind of got rid of some of the bacterial things and just began to specialize in energy production. And that is your mitochondria, the power cell. And so what we're going to do is understand now what makes that mitochondria, your energy, work well, and what screws it up. That's essentially where we're going in terms of understanding, the sugar crash.
Okay, well, that's pretty easy to answer, right? Obviously the big one is sleep, clearly. There's a huge importance in sleep in sort of how much energy my sort of mitochondria are able to power my cells. That feels like number one.
Well, the first thing is let's understand, where did you get your mitochondria from? Because it's only inherited from your
Dad?
Mother.
Got no idea.
It's your mother. You can trace all the mitochondria back to the first woman, I think it was Alice or something, in Africa.
The first woman was called Alice.
Yeah, I think so. Don't quote me on that.
No, I don't think we should quote you on that.
But basically, mitochondria is only passed in humans down the female side. So basically, you're relying on your mother's mitochondria. So your energy level is going to come probably, it's already beginning to die.
Yeah, sorry. For our listeners, I've let out about 17 yawns already in this episode.
So you're living proof that Red Bull doesn't create energy for
you. I've not had any Red Bull. I've not had any Red Bull.
The sugar in Red Bull.
I've not had any caffeine
will
so far.
destroy.
We didn't want to sort of. The fear was that if I had an energy drink or a Coke, then it wouldn't be good science because the caffeine would also be in play. And so he wants to really test sugar.
There's one other thing that I want just to delve into, and it's a bit strange, but that you inherit from your mother's side, and that you were basically alive in a cellular sense in your grandmother. So there's a chain,
Nice.
down the female side, not only mitochondria, but you were present in your mother's womb, in your grandmother.
Yeah.
There is this incredible chain that's intergenerational.
That
so it's
is
not
mad.
just mitochondria.
Then what about when my grandma was a baby?
Well, it would go back up the chain.
Was I there? Surely I can't be.
I don't think in your grandmother's grandmother, but
Where
I
did I
think
come
in your...
from? When did I appear then?
Well, I mean, this is probably
These are
off
hard
topic.
questions.
Yeah,
These are hard,
but
serious
you are
questions.
there in your mother
Fine.
when she was born from your grandmother.
That is mad.
And this is going to be relevant to the energy crash. Right. So, obviously, we've talked already about the panspermium argument that, these bacteria could be aliens, right?
We have.
And you've got an alien in your body.
Do I?
Yeah, mitochondria.
Oh, I see. As an alien, as in sort of a foreign, not necessarily from another planet.
It doesn't have any human DNA, does it?
No,
No, it doesn't. No, I'm telling you now. It's got its own DNA. It's a bacteria. It's essentially I'd like to say it came from inner space, and therefore it's an alien. But it's entirely separate, living organism.
Yeah.
It's entirely alien to your DNA, and it's there.
Mm.
And by the way, that's true for all living things. So let's go into the complex science of why sugar attacks and destroys that mitochondria. Are we ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, so we both researched the sugar crash. What's your sense of what's going on to your body? And then we'll kind of mix it with the science.
Well, as far as I could tell from briefly reading about hyperglycemia, it's called.
That's it, hypoglycemia.
Is essentially...
Could I correct you there? It's reactive hypoglycemia.
Yeah, sure.
And the reactive bit is really
That's
important.
key, okay.
Really
the
important.
reactive hypoglycemia
Correct.
is what we probably refer to as a sugar spike.
Correct.
And essentially, it is when, in order to sort of break down the sugar, your body overproduces insulin.
Correct.
To the point where it can't really, it produces too much insulin.
Correct.
And therefore hasn't really got any, can't really break it down and sort of runs out of energy, breaking down the insulin, getting rid of it, essentially.
Yes, basically right. But I want to go through the process of the sugar. So we've got glucose coming into your body.
Yeah.
And sucrose, it doesn't matter. We've established there are 60 to 200 different names for sugar, and we don't really care. The body doesn't differentiate. The only differentiation is the number of chains that we've discovered with our blacksmith.
Yes, with the blacksmith.
So the blacksmith
go back and listen to the sugar episode if you haven't already. We go into depth about this.
Yeah, and this is really important because, as I say, we have corn sweeteners, we have fructose, we have dextrose, we have, you name it.
Potatoes.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. If I look at the Red Bull, they start off with sucrose and glucose. It's all designed to befuddle the monkey brain. And then this one has fruit, and you go, wow, that's brilliant, not realizing that it's got whatever it is, grams of sugar.
Snickers, we've got sugar and glucose syrup, which is surely just sugar and water.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really matter. And I've got to disabuse, the grandmas who are going and drinking sort of agave syrup thinking that, that's all good, it's natural, and glucose is bad. No, it's the same. Like, let's just take it. So to the blacksmith is there carving up these chemicals. And there are basically two furnaces now. We've got one furnace, which is the one you've just talked about, which is the blood sugar one, goes into the blood, and then we have an insulin reaction. And the other furnace is in the liver, and that's the one that has to metabolize fructose into glucose. But eventually we get to glucose. And then we get to our famous mitochondria. Now, you're going to have to concentrate, Ed. This is really complicated science.
Picture really, basically, you'd be like, oh, Ed, come in, fill your brain with absolute rubbish. I'm going to do a really, really complicated scientific episode. I can't focus.
Yes, you need to focus. This is...
Okay.
Right, I have more...
I don't want to have a Red Bull. I finished my water. So all I've got is Snickers and horrible energy drinks.
Yes.
Sorry, mitochondria, go on.
Yeah. We're going to talk about your metabolism.
Sure.
And what you basically do. Metabolism, as far as I understand, all these complicated words are just descriptions of you burning stuff. Basically, I think chemistry is basically just burning.
Setting stuff on fire, pretty much.
It's just setting stuff on fire. So we're I'm going to use a very simple analogy. So when the glucose goes into your mitochondria, and I want you to think of the mitochondria as a sort of electro-hydrogen jet engine.
Sure.
And it actually does weirdly, it spins.
Does it?
It like literally is, I think, I mean, it's not the shape of a turbine, but it looks like a spinning turbine.
Why?
And it uses both an electric bit and hydrogen fuel, which is the ATP. So I want you to imagine a monkey eating a fruit is getting a lovely flow of glucose over time, no spikes, no complications, and the jet engine is cruising very comfortably like a jetliner at 35,000 feet, really happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Ed, you come along, have your Snickers and your nerd thing, and suddenly you're putting nitroglycerine in your fuel. Right? Now the glucose is like turbocharging and the engine starts going nuts. Your electric, the sparks, start literally sparking and causing damage to the engine and to the cells around it and to the mitochondria, and it starts burning down. And if you like, to make it simpler, you're burning granny, because that mitochondria came from grandma.
Oh,
And you don't want to do that.
No, I don't.
You do not want to burn grandma.
No, I don't.
So
I don't, Grandma,
your
don't worry.
grandma. We're fine.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. It's okay.
It's science. It's true. That mitochondria came from your grandma. And then you're setting it on fire, and the sparks are literally flying around. So the next thing is obviously your body then goes, like, we don't want to do this. This is bad. So we're going to shut everything down. So the mitochondria go, we're an engine out of control. We're going to shut down. The insulin spikes to try and get the glucose out of your body.
Sure.
And that's why you start to crash. Because suddenly all your energy has come out of your body because the insulin is kind of over.
Yeah.
And it releases cortisol, stress. Because now your body's going, wait, I've lost all my energy. I'm going to die.
Yeah, it feels a bit like that. I am knackered. I slept pretty well last night. For the record, I had a very healthy day up until about 2 hours ago now. I went on quite a long walk this morning. I had some Weetabix. I had a salad with some chicken for lunch. And was, feeling pretty good. I had a coffee when I woke up.
Yeah.
About half an hour after I woke up, because apparently that's what you're meant to do.
So everything was going super smooth.
Yeah, so it's
until
not...
you added the nitroglycerine into your jet fuel, and suddenly the engine starts going out of control, sparking. And of course, when it sparks, it starts damaging the cells, the mitochondria itself. It causes inflammation, and the body starts having to pump in anti-inflammatories, and you're really messing with the system. And that's not a good idea.
One that I'm quite interested in is, and I know you spent a lot of time on this show sort of poo-pooing Snickers bars in particular, but comparing the three things that I had, right? So we had the Snickers bar. Now, I had that first, and the Snickers bar definitely, of the three, was the least offensive in terms of the kind of initial jump.
And why might that be?
Well, I think, and it sort of is in tune with a lot of the research, I think because it does still contain things like nuts and other things which do slow down.
Correct. It has the fat. You've got the fat of the milk, and therefore it is slowing that
burn. Whereas honestly, those nerds which have...
And these Monster and Red Bull, of course you're consuming straight glucose and sucrose straight without any dietary kind of satiation. You're not getting satiated.
It's true.
So you're absolutely right. Yeah, if you can combine it with fiber and with fat, you're going to slow that burning.
Yeah. And vinegar, apparently. Apple cider vinegar, I've heard. Which I didn't let myself have because I thought it'd be anti-science. Apparently that can cut your the sugar spike levels by up to a half, apparently.
Yeah. So as you know, we talked about your mitochondria as a kind of electro-hydrogen engine and it's burning, right?
Yeah.
And one of the consequences of what's going on right now is you're releasing hydrogen peroxide into your body.
That's bleach, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it's what you do.
Yeah.
So that is, the mitochondria are kind of trying to stop themselves from going out of control. So they are, unfortunately, releasing hydrogen peroxide. Again, that's why you're feeling like SHIT at the moment.
Yeah. Again, I cannot stress to the listeners how much I am not hamming this up. In fact, if anything, I'm desperately trying to get through this episode without A, being sick, B, biting Andrew's head off, and C, losing my mind.
So Ed, I'm sorry to pile it on you, and I'm feeling now very guilty and empathetic that I've, but
He's
basically this is how you were.
I'm feeling very
before
guilty.
we went on this
But
journey.
exactly what I thought was going to happen has happened. I feel so awful about it.
But I've got to say that what's happening now is we said your metabolism is essentially burning, right? You're burning your glucose, which is a carbohydrate, hydrogen,
Sure.
your hydrogen fuel. And unfortunately, with that amount of excess sugar, you're burning too quickly.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that means that you've created incredible amounts of inflammation. And this is where things start to go wrong. We talked about the two furnaces. One was the mitochondria, the other was the liver. Obviously, with liver, you get fatty liver, and that has all the cardiovascular, cancer, etc. problems. And then with inflammation, you get aging, and the browning. We talked about the bog man.
Yeah, great. Got that to look forward to.
You're sort of effectively, caramelizing yourself, as we speak.
Yeah, it feels like that actually.
So you're being cooked.
Yeah, I think, going back also, I do think there's something about those American sweets, I think, which is not something I have. I picked them because they were pound for pound the highest sugar content thing in the
Is that right?
the news engine I could find. Yeah, it was, so a bag is 45 grams,
Right.
but per 100 grams, they are, I think, 85 grams of sugar. So even a 45 gram bag was around 40 grams.
See, that's just an insane amount. And this is one
And
of
the
the
rest of
things,
it was just E numbers.
Ed, I want to say, look, here and now, it's not your fault. It's the industry.
I feel like I'm in
that
like
have got-
a AA meeting.
Yeah,
for
this
sugar.
is confession. Giving you a confessing for something I've asked you to
Yeah,
do.
also,
But that's not the
of course
point.
not my fault. I didn't want to do this.
It's not your fault. The industry is incredibly clever
It's true.
at hiding sugar, maximizing it, putting it in drinks, telling you that it's going to make you a Formula One driver.
Yeah, well, I was.
And, just hiding enormous amounts of glucose. And there's some sort of industrial scale
Talking
problem.
about hiding sugar, I mean, no beef to this brand. It hasn't got that much sugar in. It's not enough. It's nothing compared to a lot of the other cereal brands. But I love Weetabix. In my head, it's sort of a very healthy option.
Yeah.
The adverts really suggest it's a healthy option. Sort of, have you had your Weetabix? Still got 8%. I assumed it didn't have any sugar in it. I assumed it was some sort of mega healthy. And it's not bad. It's not got loads in, but it is true that even things that you wouldn't think have loads of sugar in, do still have some in. And it's
this is why we're so obsessed with high cocoa chocolate. Because we don't like sugar. We know that the monkey brain, monkey metabolism is not designed for any sugar. And Ed, we've agreed that we're gonna reverse the damage. Here's where the guilt feels. I want to see a healthy monkey sitting next to me, and I want to repair grandma's mitochondria.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have a week of no sugar at all.
Yeah, we are. I've had all my sugar for the week in about 2 hours. And I think it's gonna be interesting for two reasons. One, to see how we feel, and two, what I talked about there, actually looking at what does actually have sugar in. Things like Weetabix, which I would never ever have thought did. And I've just been checking over the last few weeks when we were planning this. And yeah, it really is remarkable. Now, in terms of things like, for example, fruit obviously has...
I think, can we follow the chimp diet and say fruit, as long as you don't juice it, and which will multiply, again, juicing, you deliver probably 6 to 8 times what you would eat in terms of an apple. You leave all the fiber behind, and you leave a lot of the minerals in that fiber.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay, and we're going to discuss this now, to have an apple. I don't think it's okay to have apple juice. So apple juice is off.
Okay, sure.
We've got to be forensic in discovering the sugar in our diet. Weetabix is out. If it's got 8 to 9%, it's out.
Which is a real shame. Because I actually do think I feel great after Weetabix. Again, I don't want to single out Weetabix. I can't stress that if you go to the cereal aisle, Weetabix will absolutely be right down the bottom of how much sugar is in all of them. Like, Weetabix is a pretty sensible...
So we're going for zero, net zero sugar.
Bran flakes?
They'll probably have sugar. Again, we've got to be like Sherlock Holmes. We've got to be forensic. We've got to find this sugar and then avoid it.
Well, I think it sounds rubbish. I think it's going to be an equally miserable week. That's my prediction.
By the way, let's just agree that glucose is glucose, whether it's in kale or in, Snickers.
Yeah.
I don't think you can have any bread because that's a grass. An almond croissant is a double version because you've got the sugar in the almond.
Yeah, I won't have any almond croissants, that's fair.
Is the bread, so you've got double sugar, you've got double glucose.
But then this is still, I think, our big point of contention. We saw this in our sugar episode, we've seen it now. I think a little bit of this stuff is fine. I think it's so okay to have a Snickers bar every 3 or 4 days. I don't think for science, fine. For science, I will not have any bread, but I am so sure, and we'll keep this bit in, I'll eat my hat if this is not the case. I am so sure that if I have a week of not having any bread or any sugar or any of these things, I will be miserable and really bored and really hungry the whole time. I'll be starving hungry.
Alive. You're going to love life. You're going to be full of energy. Potatoes, there's glucose, starch. No, you've got to eliminate starch.
What carbs can I have?
None.
I will be so...
No, it's fruit. It's what the monkey would eat. Lettuce, fruit,
But if you speak to
nuts.
Top athletes, do not eat like that. Absolutely.
Ed, you're a top athlete.
I'm a bottom athlete, but I still play sport. I've got a football game on. I've got 2 football.
I don't think we can judge ourselves. We've got to look at the average
120
monkey.
minutes of football this week.
That's very impressive.
I'm playing tennis. I will probably cycle quite a lot. I need to have some carbohydrates to burn. Otherwise,
we're gonna for science, we're gonna zero your grasses. You're not allowed, and no beer either.
Can I start Monday morning then? Can I start Monday morning? Because I've got quite a lot of grass-related plans this weekend locked in.
Grass is a big
I've got 2 grass-related plans this evening and 1 more tomorrow.
Well, I think we'll start Monday
morning,
and we'll do to Friday, and we have agreed that we're going to 0 sugar and 0 grass.
Yes, I don't know how we're going to handshake for the cameras to see. Maybe on that one.
Fine. And I think it's time. Ed is feeling exhausted. I must say, he's looking drained.
I feel
not his normal.
I feel better. So I feel a lot better in the last 10 minutes.
Really?
Whenever. Yeah, I genuinely. I don't know if you can see from the speed I'm talking, but I wonder if the water I drank has started to do something.
Probably what's happened is I
don't feel good, but the headache is slightly lessened as well.
The brain went into like crisis mode, fight or flight, and then it started releasing glucose from your liver back into the system to get your mitochondria whirring again. And it started to, it's correcting. And the body, super interesting, and this is why I think we want to do this experiment next week, has this natural form. It has a form that subconsciously it knows what you should be like, weirdly, and it will do like a thermostat to control you. And so what is now happening to your body, totally uncontrolled by yourself, is the body's reacting to the problem and trying to solve it.
Sure. Yeah, I do feel better. I think the thing I found really interesting was, the headache is sort of expected. I mean, maybe other reasons why I might have a headache as well, but the inability to sort of be switched on, I think that
your brain fog was quite...
Really, actually struggling to sort of follow complicated sentences.
Science.
Honestly, I can't stress enough, if my time was my own, right, in the last hour, the thing that I would have spent doing it would have been lying and staring at a screen. Like that would have been just about, which I think is...
That's a generational issue.
Well, I think that's an interesting point in terms of actually like a lot of these like lethargies sort of link into another. A lot of these behaviours are actually quite
absolutely.
self-feeding.
You know, that's what we talked about with the panda. You know, eating the grass is obviously from a sort of larger picture standpoint. The thing that we want you doing is like, you know, Wall-E, basically passively consuming lots of sugar.
I thought you meant Where's Wally, and I was sort of thinking that's Where's Waldo for our American listeners.
It's
Wall-E,
Wall-E, where the image of all these guys sitting on those electric chairs getting fed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's exactly the positioning. I'm sure these large corporations, they want you to consume, whether it's sugar or Netflix.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And Red Bull is going to be thrown in there just to kind of add a bit of blood from the bull.
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
No, I thought you meant that.
Taurine.
Just Red Bull does not contain bull's blood.
It has bile from a bull.
Taurine.
Taurine.
That's okay. It does have Taurus in it, which is
taurine.
Latin of bull. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed this episode. I did not, if I'm honest. Definitely my least favourite one that I've done. But see you next week, I guess, for a completely different sort of experiment. I'm once again, but this one you're willing to sort of do along with me.
I'm going to do it
you
along with you.
You weren't happy to eat 90 grams of sugar.
That was just I know the effect.
But yeah, as I said, Sunday and Saturday I'm going to be normal because
you're going to eat your sugar and your grass.
Well, it's more actually, to be honest, I think carbs, not having any sugar will be like, oh, that's a bit annoying. Not having any like beer and stuff will be a bit like, oh. But genuinely not having potatoes, rice, bread will really, really, really affect me. I think I will be really low on energy. I
think you'll be the opposite. That's the bet. That's the bet we've got. I think you're going to be full of energy, full of beans. Next Friday, you're going to be like absolutely on fire. Not in a metabolic way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in a mental way.
Anyway, luckily for the listener, they get to find out pretty quickly. We've got to wait a week and got to not have any nice food. But anyway, thanks again for joining us. Thank you, Andrew. Less thanks than normal, I must add, but thank you all the same.
There was a little bit of a...
and see you guys next week.
Okay, bye. Cheers.